Welcome back. We're having our second conversation this morning, and as we mentioned, it's all about the Intra-City e-mobility pilot project. And we have here with us some folks to talk to us about that. Here with us is Tahira Usher, and she is the e-mobility project manager representing UNDP. And to her right is Dr. Curtis Boodoo, and he is the consulting engineer and e-mobility expert, also with UNDP. And the man who is really and truly the one sharing all of this with us on the media is, of course, no stranger to you guys, Neil Hall, and he is the e-transit startup coordinator. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
So this is exciting times. We're finally floating in the air, levitating in the air in e-mobile vehicles. Almost there. But let's talk about what this project seeks to achieve, and where are we currently with that?
Okay.
So I guess I could start just to give a bit of background on the project. Some years ago, a study was conducted that revealed that the transport sector contributes to almost 78% of emissions. And so from that, the objective of the project is to focus on the public transit system to reduce emissions. And the way that we're doing that is piloting electric vehicles within the public transit system, specifically focusing on electric buses. So you would have seen the 2 electric buses arrive in country in January. A very historical moment for Belize. These are the first 2 electric buses in country. And so that's the more visible components of the project. But of course, we're also looking at ensuring that the legislative and policy frameworks are in place so that we can have a conducive environment to promote electric vehicles in private sector, public sector.
Yes.
Another component also looks at the national transport sector strategy. So how do we embed electric vehicles and an electric vehicle strategy within the broader goals, national goals as it relates to the transport sector?
Yeah. With this new innovative way of public transportation, we're also kind of living in a slight depression, recession type of economy around the world, not just Belize. So how is this particular project sustainable and economic friendly to passengers?
We'll probably take this one. Good morning. There has always been some sort of inequality as it relates to the energy transition. So how do we get the lower income portion of society to benefit from the energy transition? And we are proud to say that in our project, we are focusing on the lower income portion of society. By investing in electric buses, you bring electric vehicle technology, which is still expensive and maybe out of their reach, available for them to experience and benefit from the health benefits associated with it. Electric vehicles and our electric buses would have a lower maintenance cost. The fuel, in this case being electricity, is much cheaper. So as we progress with the pilot and as we move towards a larger fleet, it is our hope that the commuting public will benefit from these cost savings that we would see.
But even with the load shedding and the electricity situation, is this still beneficial for us? Okay.
So I would say in that context that this project and the technologies we are introducing, although it is currently in the background, as you mentioned, of load shedding, the analogy I want to use is just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you should give up on wonderful opportunities. And there may be some level of discomfort currently with the issue of the load shedding. But this technology is important for Belize. It's important for Belize in the short term and in the long term.
Okay. I want to take a look.
And finally, I would say that we are guided by BEL as it relates to when we charge. So we take our instructions directly from BEL when to charge the vehicles.
Okay. I want to take a look at the technology aspect of this project and what it takes to essentially power an electric vehicle, whether it's bus, car, whatever the means. What type of technology are we talking about? Because we also have to think about maintenance. And this is the first of its kind, as we mentioned. This is historic. Can we maintain something like this? Do we have the human capacity and the necessary technological resources to upkeep these vehicles?
Can I start this one?
You can handle that. I was always going to pass it over to you.
So that's awesome because this week we actually had representatives from BYD, or the company's name is Build Your Dreams. They are the manufacturers of these buses, and they were here to give trainings. They gave training from Tuesday until yesterday to a group that consisted of bus operators and owners, bus drivers, the IT vets, representatives from the various ministries, and the goal was to make us more aware of, just like you said, what is an electric vehicle, and from there they're actually doing further training today with their implementing partners, which is Caribbean Motors, so that they will have a better understanding of what to do to maintain these vehicles and how to handle certain top 10 things that usually or have gone wrong in other areas of the Caribbean, so that should it happen here in Belize, it won't be a scenario. It's going to be a, okay, let's do this, and this.
Yeah.
I know for the startup we have the Intra-City buses that are up and running in Belize City.
Soon
up and running.
Yes.
Apologies. Soon up and running in Belize City.
Yes.
Is it set to be in July running?
Yes. End of July.
And we have, Belize City for the most part has been doing a good job in constructing their roads and so forth. The buses can run smoothly. When will you take it to the highway, and how do we know that the buses are going to be able to sustain themselves on that road?
So we call them inter-city buses. So those will be the district runs. We have 3 of those buses coming in at the end of August. And so after testing and doing a little bit of training, we'll probably be up and running maybe end of October, early November. And so that's the timeline that we're looking at for those district buses. Of course, there'll be bigger buses, and we'll come back and we'll do the training with the relevant parties that will be involved in that.
I want to understand the technology a little bit. I'm no engineer, but I think about the way that our regular vehicles kind of take on the highway. Do things like climate change, heat, all of these things impact the way that an electronic bus or an electronic vehicle works?
You're most definitely right. Heat is an issue as it relates to batteries on the buses. But these particular buses have a feature called active cooling, meaning that it actively pumps coolant throughout the batteries and the electronics to make sure it keeps it cool, and it actually senses the temperature, the ambient temperature, and adjusts to that. So one of the requirements when we actually went out to the different suppliers of these buses, we were very open about the climate here in Belize and the higher temperatures, and we got buses in response to our local climate.
Yeah. One of the things that I recently learned about the buses is the capacity it holds. We're looking at traffic regulations saying, you probably shouldn't be standing in a bus. But in this instance, these electric buses probably require that because there's not many seats available for persons to sit. What is that going to look like?
So the buses accommodate 25 seated persons inclusive of the driver.
Okay.
So 24 seats for passengers. However, for people who have traveled outside of Belize, you will know that there are buses that are designed for people to stand, and they have the proper safety precautions of the handrails, etc. And these buses are designed with that in mind. So these are safe for standing passengers, and we are working with the Department of Transport and the Ministry of Transport to ensure that we have the right legislations in place to allow for standing passengers in these buses especially, or hopefully in the future, as investment comes on for the other bus owners and operators in the city or throughout the country, that they would also be able to apply for the special licenses or the permits necessary, so that they, once they have a bus that is designed and built with the safety features in mind and at hand, would also be able to accommodate for standing passengers.
How inclusive are these buses for persons with disabilities?
So happy you asked. So aside from the creature comforts, where you have the USB ports beside the seats so that you can charge your devices while you're on it, the fact that we're actually looking to put Wi-Fi on these buses and that they're air conditioned.
Guys, I just want to say, no. Here's the problem, right? So I'll jump on this bus at Saveview to go to Brody's, and I'll take the same round trip again because I need to finish watching my show.
We hope that's not going to be a problem, but we more than likely will have it timed so that after 45 minutes your internet cuts off, so so you have to look up.
I like that. I like the controls.
Smart.
Exactly.
Yes, but back to
So back to the inclusivity.
Yes.
If you look at your screens, for those of you who have it at home right now, you'll see that the rear door is wider than the front door. That is because the rear door actually opens up and it allows for wheelchair passengers to come onto the bus
Excellent.
via a ramp that extends from the floor just in front of, or just inside of the door out to the street or the curb. The shot we had just now actually had the area for the wheelchairs to enter
Yes.
and be, I want to say, parked or
That's
rest.
controlled by the driver.
Yes, it is. The driver controls the door. The ramp will actually be put out manually by a conductor or the driver if no conductor is available. And in that shot you see right there, you have two gray seats by the tripod, and that's because those are areas
For handicap
specifically
seating.
for people who have mobility challenges,
Yeah.
handicap seating, or for wheelchairs to be placed and actually belted into the bus itself.
That's so necessary. I have to commend you guys for that.
We are, I'm really happy you asked, because the inclusivity of everyone, the ability to give people who were not able to do things on their own simply because they couldn't get to Albert Street to go shopping or to
Yeah.
that location to do something, is something that we're really priding ourselves on at Belize City E-Ride.
So I have another question. Since this is all about creating a new innovative way of public transportation, please tell me I could pay online or like with my e-wallet, because I always not have change. And
So with the transformation of the transport sector, it also comes with digitalization. And so this is also a component of the project that looks at that in digitalization of the entire system. So not only are we looking at integrating e-wallets, but we also have a transit system mobile application that has been developed for Belize.
Nice.
First of its kind.
Like bus passes?
So if you would go abroad, you know, you could log on to an app, you'll be able to see when the buses are coming to you. You'll be able to plan your route, you know which buses are going to be available. Right now, since we're in the pilot phase, we're only going to be having the electric buses online that you can see, but eventually we do hope to expand to include all of the buses in the country, so that passengers are able to see what options are available, what time you need to get to the bus stop. If there are any delays in the buses, the bus drivers are able to send a message to passengers within that app to say, hey,
Wow.
we just broke down, please
like
get
that.
another option.
Man, I wish I had that in junior college.
Right?
What?
Man, he's so
You're also able to give your reviews. So
Yeah.
if you had an incident that happened at one of the bus stops, or the bus was dirty, or something that you didn't like, you're able to also log in your experience. And
Yeah.
of course, the administrator of that would be the Department of Transport, and they'll be able to collect that data and use it to improve the system as we gradually go around.
I'm glad you said, or you reminded us that it is a pilot project indeed for now, to be launched in July. So what are you doing with all of this feedback at the moment, and how is it being collected, and what are you actually looking for from passengers?
So while this is a pilot project, this is a part of the broader national goals of Belize. So through the country's nationally determined contribution, the goal is actually to transition the entire public transit system. And so this is the pilot, but of course the data and the research that is going to be collected is going to then feed into that national plan in terms of sustainability. So throughout this next year, we'll be collecting the data. We'll have that available to then be used to make the strategic decisions as it relates to policy, to the direction that the government wants to take as it relates to transitioning the entire public transit system, and as well as encouraging private transition.
And then moving it to Belmopan, right?
Actually, one of
Right.
the buses will be taking from Belize City to Belmopan, so you'll have the opportunity to ride.
Hopefully they come very early.
Yes.
They will come very early. Can I have a 5 o'clock route, please? I just
maybe.
No, I try. I need for the
So
FOC.
she could
Oh, you
here
need
for
to be
6
here for
in the
6
morning.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Just like 5,
You might have to get a private ride.
4:45 is fine.
Well, I understand that you guys do have a trivia for us. So
I don't like his face. I don't like what you're doing with that right now. That makes me scared just a little bit.
but let's see what you got for us.
All right. So
Before Neil starts,
Yes.
Sarah has an interesting question to ask that is open and maybe relevant.
Okay.
Yeah, very relevant. We are women, and so I just want to know, how do you think we can get women more involved in the energy sector? Because of course we know that it's male dominated. What can we do to encourage in Belize to get women involved in this sector?
I think that the education aspect of it comes into play when we're seeing career day. The electrician is a guy, the engineer is a guy, the guy that is manning the poles is a guy. So I don't think children, girls are seeing women in these spaces. And it's not necessarily because it's not an inclusive field. It's just not something that socially and psychologically we think women are doing the jobs,
Yeah.
but they are. So maybe seeing them will help.
And I think adding to that, I also think of the maritime industry where they're also struggling to have female representation there. And a big aspect of that campaign is to show these women that there are many other roles that you can play aside from being out on the waters if that's not your thing. So you can show them that you don't necessarily have to climb a pole, but you can contribute to the energy sector in other ways.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's another way as well that you can educate them.
A+, Curtis?
Yeah, most definitely.
Not too
We'll,
shabby,
we'll,
guys.
we'll use your recommendations in our project.
All
All
right.
right. Quiz. Question 1.
Oh, no.
When was the first practical electric vehicle introduced? 1889, 1923, 1975, or 2001?
I'll say 2001.
Electric,
Yes. When was the first practical electric vehicle introduced?
1923.
1923 and 2001 are the answers. 1889 is actually the correct answer. That was the
Was
first.
that with Tesla?
No, that was way before Tesla.
Okay. Not Tesla, the vehicle, Nikolai Tesla. Okay.
Yes. Question 2. What is the primary source of power for electric vehicles? Gasoline, solar energy, electricity, or diesel?
Electricity.
Again, what is the primary source of power for electric vehicles? Gasoline, solar energy, electricity, or diesel?
Can I change my answer?
You can, yes, you can.
I'm thinking of the power supplies that we have here in Belize.
The fact that he never tell me I correct the minute I say electricity kind of bother
No,
me
but
now.
I also didn't answer.
Yes.
So I'm leaning on solar or electricity as well.
I'm gonna lean on electricity and diesel.
Diesel?
Yes.
The primary source of power for electric vehicles is electricity.
So I got it right.
I got it right the first time.
I got it right. You changed your answer.
I said electricity or diesel. I leaned.
Okay, this one. Which of the following is a benefit of electric vehicles? A. Increased greenhouse gas emissions. B. Higher fuel costs. C. Reduced air pollution. Or D. Noisy engine sounds.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure.
C.
Which of the following is a benefit of electric vehicles? A. Increased greenhouse gas emissions. B. Higher fuel costs. C. Reduced air pollution. Or D. Noisy engine sounds.
C.
C.
C. C.
I hope
As in
your
yes.
buses aren't noisy.
No, they are not.
You don't
They
hear
are
them.
lovely.
You don't hear them when they come.
Yeah.
So
All
you
right,
have
so
to rely on the
at
app.
the moment we have 3 questions asked and you're both at 1.5 points.
1.5.
Yes,
Oh,
because
where's
you
the
said
1.5? I won like fair and square.
you said electricity,
electricity
or
or
solar.
solar.
So you got half of the points. I gave you the half.
Nature is coming
You
out.
see?
You right?
You see?
How many questions do they have remaining, Neil? So they
I
would
have,
know.
I have 3 more questions.
You only have
If-
3 more to take the lead.
Okay.
But, we can do something.
Okay, first of all, you viewers, you have to see Sabrina's eyes just shifting. It's amazing. Please go.
All right, this should be one that you.
This is the tiebreaker.
Nah, this will make it a more devious one.
Oh.
Here we go. Which Which part of an electric vehicle allows it to store electrical energy? Again, the question is, which part of an electric vehicle allows it to store electrical energy? Alternator, carburetor, battery, or radiator?
One more time.
Well, I'm hoping it's the battery.
Which part of an electric vehicle allows it to store electrical energy? Alternator, carburetor, battery, or radiator?
I hate that they're all ERS and I don't know vehicles like that.
You're supposed to know more than me. If I get a flat, I think it's the radiator. I'll say battery because I think that just makes sense.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
I'll say, I don't like when they do that because then I feel like it's not the correct answer.
Trust your gut.
I'll say the battery as well.
And you're both still tied.
You only said that because I said that, April.
You have to write down your answers.
This is so great. This is what we're going to do for the last one, right?
You have two more.
You have to shout it out at the same time.
No,
Okay.
whoever
Yeah.
says the correct answer first gets it from now because I don't want us to reach to the
Okay.
very end and then still not have a tiebreaker.
All right, let's
Oh,
go.
but that's nice though.
Who
The
answers
last question
first?
being the tiebreakers
Who
more.
answers first?
Okay.
But
All right. What is the approximate cost per mile of driving an electric vehicle compared to a traditional gasoline car?
Okay.
Again, the question, what is the approximate cost per mile of driving an electric vehicle compared to a traditional gasoline car? Is it a higher cost, an equal cost, or a lower?
Lower cost. Got it.
Wait, you both said it at the same
No,
time.
what? Why the cap? What? No.
I thought you were gonna be like 53 cents
No,
a mile or
I
something like that.
Guys, all right.
Lower
This
cost.
is working, guys.
Okay, this is the last question
Fine.
and the tiebreaker.
Okay.
This one is a little bit tricky and difficult.
You
Okay,
have
great.
to finish the question first though, and then you answer.
Is it a multiple
Or he
choice
has
as
to
well?
finish the options.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
finish the options.
It is a more.
Ready?
Sure.
Which country has the highest number of electric vehicles on the roads as of the latest data? Again, the question. Which country has the highest number of electric vehicles on the roads as of the latest data? Your answers are either the United States, China, Germany, or Japan.
Japan.
I don't know.
You have to
Yeah,
guess.
you have to try.
Okay. No, but I don't want to say what you said because I'm not a copycat.
Your options are the United States, China, Germany, or Japan.
I'll say China.
And with that, congratulations. You won.
Yes. No, you are happy.
You have no idea.
We should have brought some
You
fries.
should
I
have
need an electric car.
Don't be all.
But that, anyways.
But
Guys.
can I really ask how much it is per mile to drive an electric vehicle?
Sure. So it depends on the vehicle you're driving. Some of them have greater efficiency than others, as with everything in the world. A kilowatt hour of electricity here in Belize costs about 43 cents. And from 43 cents, your base would be 3 miles.
Wow.
I know people who have
Gas suckers.
diesel engine vehicles, thank you, and we pay $12 plus per gallon, and
Yeah.
we go maybe 22. Some people are at 18 to 22 miles. So
And you
imagine
have some people who go like, what,
50 cents
$11?
equals 3 miles. So at $4 you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But okay, see, and this comes back to like cost, efficiency, and for the person that actually needs the transportation, because am I really going to invest $200,000 in an electric car?
May I take this one? The answer is it depends on how you actually use your vehicle. The example is you currently ride the bus to come to Belize City?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And it costs you $14 round trip. In an electric vehicle, you would be able to go Belmopan, Belize for about $12 round trip. And that's just the highway, plus a little bit of circling in the city. So when you factor in, if you do that every single day, saving what would be $2, but having the convenience of using your own vehicle, and that's just Belize City, Belmopan. When you start thinking about if you use your vehicle to go and you're doing, in this case, a city run, where every day, 15 runs a day, let's call it 10 miles, you are traveling 150 miles in one day and you look at the fuel efficiency and the cost per mile, you start seeing where the savings come up. If you're looking at delivery, for example, where you're delivering from your main hub in Belize City to Corozal and you're doing that daily, you start seeing where, again, your savings and your profits as a business owner would start rising. So making that initial investment and then seeing over the next 10, 15, 20 years a consistent return on investment, because you have to remember, instead of paying $12 for 20 miles, you're paying $3.50 for 20 miles.
I think this would be a great option for persons using transportation as a business. So
Yeah.
bus owners, I think that would be the first individuals that could benefit from this, because they would save a lot of money on fuel.
And that's what this pilot project is all about. I think it was truly well designed, because once we can, as Curtis said, have a service that benefits everyone, especially not just the upper class, but the entire society, you're looking at something that helps the entire country to grow. And with that, you then start influencing other people who have better means of procuring their own electric vehicles, and then that will then cause the entire electric vehicle industry and the population of electric vehicles in Belize to also grow.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the pilot project is almost to a close. There's going to be a launch in July, and I know you guys will be back before that time comes. Is there any final words you'd like to say to our viewers as you wrap up?
I would like to say, we did a few test runs, if you want to call them that, through the city. It was really a delight for me, because we would look out the window and we would see the excitement on persons on the side of the street. We would see them taking out their cell phones and taking videos. You know, and to me, on a personal sense, that has been one of the more enjoyable aspects of the project.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. This has been exciting.
I am excited to ride the bus.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the routes will be as well. Of course, having the ability to access all of that information online too is
Incredible.
Really, really great.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks for
Pleasure.
having us.
Thank you,
We
Barbara.
are going to take another break, and as we mentioned, it is Small Business Friday, Sabrina. So we have the folks in from the Chamber and some other small businesses to talk to us about the upcoming Made in Belize trade show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.